Welcome to the Adapt Collective, where we talk all things health, wellness, and movement.
Oh, yeah, we're back.
We're back.
Thanks for joining us again on the Adapt Collective.
Episode 14.
Episode 14. I am your host, Jonas. I am joined by my co-host,
Peter.
and thank you for coming back. Hopefully, you like and subscribe on us. You can find us, of course, on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Give us a like, and feel free to share us. Yeah, please share us.
Share us around.
Yeah, at least in a conversation. Just be like, oh, by the way, But you could also, members, you could also see us on the screen.
Yeah, we've been putting it up on the... And people are like, it's getting people like, oh, that's right.
I like how you have the captions on there because there are certain times where we are blurbing about like something specific, rep schemes, etc. And I'm waiting for the day where I'm like, oh, look, we're talking about what we're doing right now. Let's just follow me.
Put your phone down.
Right, exactly.
The music's loud. It's going. So.
And if you are watching us on YouTube, you probably, or watching us in the gym, you're noticing a little bit fancier lighting. I finally got that working, man. And I was going to tell you this off camera, but it makes such a good segue. We were talking a lot about AI before, just in how we're integrating it into our lives. Getting this old school LED sync was so hard.
Harder than it needed to be.
Just so you know, I've been integrating with ChatGPT, the Super AI, and Grok, and all these other without any issue. Yeah. No issues with the AI.
This LED light.
But all of a sudden, and that's what's going to, these are the robots that are coming for us. These old school, where we can't.
You remember in the movie iRobot where it's like they come out with that new model and then he gets lost, or I think he falls into like all the old machinery.
Great yes.
And
right.
Like,
the old machinery is harder to work with.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. It would be like one of these kids going back and figure out how to do a rotary phone. But you know what? We just left it unplugged, and it did what it needed to do. And I come in today, I plug it in, everything syncs up. So hopefully you notice that new aesthetic. That means you're watching us.
That's the way it works.
Before we get rocking and rolling on this one, because we have a lot to talk about, I'm going to recognize our sponsors, NOCO pre-workout energy drink, LMNT. I'm rocking an orange salt. Stay salty, my friend. Your electrolytes. You got a lemon today?
Yeah, I got a lemon.
And Celsius. Pre-post workout. I'm also going to plug my favorite NOCO flavor, which is the sour apple, but it doesn't come caffeinated, which I say all the time. But it's still worth it.
They came the other day and they gave us some caffeinated stuff, but
this one that we have, is this one changed the Pichango? The staff always grabs. It's okay. They're alert. Yep. So, how's your day been as far as
beautiful
coming off? Beautiful.
I mean,
training, working.
Spring in Miami.
It is good. It is
today.
Gorgeous. We just go straight from winter, a couple days of spring, and then we just hop right back into summer. We actually have some.
But we're right there. Summer's right around the corner. So
we like to be ready for summer, but we don't want to neglect what winter can offer.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Because it'll be very hot.
Double up on the clothes. Go through a little.
The boots will come out.
Bulking phase, right? Do you rotate your client? Do you factor in like, okay, I would love for there to be a bulking phase and a sort of cutting phase to go with that
definitely. Yeah. I mean,
people don't.
They get bored. I get bored, right?
Yeah.
And like, I need to at times like, hey, just because you're bored doesn't mean that we're gonna get away from our structure.
Right.
We've talked about this.
Yep.
Periodization, right? Continue to do the right things the right way. But yeah, definitely seasons, like 3-month, 4-month cycles. And then, all right, let's change it. Let's give you a little bit of a.
Right. Seasons are the only way to break it up where you're respecting it, like kind of obviously with recovery like a sport, is you got to break it up into seasons.
Yeah.
Winter, I think the majority is, ski season. Most of our clients are either skiing or going somewhere where there's right. I mean, how I break down my season, I don't know if it's just me being in Miami, being a trainer in Miami, but definitely if I could think of my clients who are, just business people in the community, majority seasonally are recreational hikers, skiers. So I either have people that are seasonal skiers or seasonal hikers in the summer, but there's always they're always going to the mountains during, during in season.
They're always leaving the beach.
Yeah, they're leaving the beach, exactly. And I think sometimes like when you think of somebody and you're doing it like that, you put a lot of faith that they're gonna be with you for the entire year.
Yeah.
When you break it down, so they're okay with you. They're okay with you bulking with like.
Yeah, because the bulking is, hey, we're gonna pack on some type of like structure.
Yeah.
To sustain the activity that you want. So it's like, okay, hey, if this is gonna help me, go down those blues, those blacks, over and over while, getting myself hurt, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, and in that case, so when they're doing when you're doing your activity, you are technically in season. If you come to us and you're saying, oh yeah, I just want to be able to feel good and play tennis and go skiing when I got to be able to ski, bro. I don't want to start with you guys. If it's all of a sudden I'm gonna get towards. What was that? A water bottle? Whoa!
There's ghosts in here. Hold on.
Hey, calm down out there. We know you want to come in here, knocking the camera down. It's all right. You feel it shaking? Whoa! Hang on. That was good. So they're like, yeah, if I don't want to, if I
can we disrupt to tell our audience what just happened here?
Yeah, we had.
We're live, but we're not editing that. By the way, guys.
No, we have a camera. Yeah, but we can bounce back right into it. It's just guys, technical difficulties.
This building is like from 1940s.
It's an old building. A lot of energy rolling through this building. A lot of magnetism because there were wires and copper. It was an old broadcasting building, so there's a lot of receiving. And a lot of wiring.
A lot of people that have passed through here.
Absolutely. It's definitely a place of resonance. Maybe that's why I have
paranormal activity potentially.
Yeah, no, you're not kidding. Especially back here. Hey, that's why the haunted house is
so
what
good.
it is.
It's so good. Exactly. All right. Well, that's a perfect segue to.
Yeah, so we're getting ready for summer. Yeah, so I have some questions there are some people that send in questions. I haven't opened them up because I know that they get into some crazy stuff, and I wanted to have like the first time opening the present. So they have getting ready for summer. Now, these are the top 10 questions that I put together from the flurry.
From
getting ready for summer right? All right, and I'm not gonna go through names. Yeah. Okay. So number 1, be honest. Is it too late to get in summer shape, or were we all just hoping lighting and dehydration carry us through? I was hoping it will come in the studio. We have the lighting.
It's never too late.
I just
right? We have it on the wall. Is day 1 or one day, right? It's never too late.
Yeah.
Now context. What are we working with, and where are we trying to get to in the next couple weeks?
You know how to use your lighting. You should know that if you shouldn't be taking pictures into the sun.
Yeah.
Use your good side.
Or the colors that make you look good.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah. That's always gonna play a part to some capacity.
All right. 2. Oh, I've been bulking since October. At what point does it stop being a bulk and start being a personality? They're falling in love with it.
Listen, bulking season is great because there's not a lot of cardiovascular demand, so to speak. There's cardiovascular adaptation in terms of the volume.
Yep.
You're probably doing a lot of volume from a bulking standpoint. And you're hungry. There's a surplus, and so you're crushing carbs at a.
I have a when we're done with this list, I have remind me the strawberry milkshake recipe.
Okay, strawberry. But it's like when people ask, hey, I'm fasting. No, are you intentionally fasting, or are you are you
just making an excuse for your crappy eating patterns?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. All right, 3. What is the actual difference between a strategic cut and just panic dieting because you got invited to a pool party? Well, I am all for the pool party prep. Because unless you're being invited to a pool party, you didn't spontaneously, which I don't think it is. There's always a little bit of time to prep.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea to maybe go a little dehydrated to it, because
mitigate the alcohol.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Mitigate the refined sugars for sure.
Yeah. Stick to, if a bikini is out, if the midriff is exposed, you have to keep it to like shots of tequila, very small volume, but high quality. Right, we don't want to be doing the beers,
the clear stuff.
Yes, exactly. You don't want to be holding, you don't want a sugar drink. You don't want to be sipping the ocean spray, cranberry juice, all that. You just want water. Just try to stay dehydrated, and don't nibble.
Carbonated water.
Carbonated water works too.
You retain it a lot less.
Yes.
Regular.
Yeah. So
I mean,
but strategic cut, like you were saying, that you can't just fast your way out of.
Yeah.
It's got to be intermittent if it's going to be.
Yeah.
If,
There needs to be some intention to it.
Yeah, people abuse
could
that
definitely-
word. I could hog up the rest of the.
We've worked with like bikini models and athletes that have to kind of weight cut, and there's strategy to it, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to do it too soon.
Yep.
You don't want to do it too late, because if not, you're not going to look as lean as possible either.
I think I agree with you.
Some refinement there.
Yeah, I'll add to that, and then I'll move on. That I feel that when you don't have the musculature, it's easy. And so, in other words, the non-gym goer, the person who doesn't train with the crappy eating habits,
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
They might see results when they do these patterns of restriction.
Dehydration, yeah. Like,
Of not eating, I'm not going to eat today, and I feel
Yeah.
skinnier. When you start working out and the body now has muscle on it, that not eating is not.
doesn't work.
It
It's
doesn't work.
counterintuitive.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. All right. So here we go. Number 4. This is great summer. I love that we live in Miami. If I only train abs for the next 6 weeks, will they show, or am I just strengthening disappointment? 6 weeks?
I mean, do they have a semblance already? Can I see their abs already? If I can somewhat see, right, like, okay, you have like somewhat of a four pack, so to speak, right? Like, what are we working with? If you're overweight, 6 weeks, I don't have enough time, right?
Yeah.
Unless we're doing something very extreme, like what we just talked about, like a dehydration kind of.
And if they have their technique together, and then we can actually get some trunk flexion.
Yeah.
We can.
What you mean is some pelvic and abdominal kind of awareness of like,
Yes.
all right, do you know how to like draw your navel or your belly button towards your?
I feel that
or the inverse.
Correct.
Right?
I feel that if you can teach somebody the scrapings of that, how they hold themselves, or how
a lot of it is posture. Is
Correct.
I think where you're going at.
Correct.
Right?
Or how you brace during exercise.
Exactly.
If you're on that boat taking the picture and you're like, fuck, I got to brace my abs.
Which is a lot of what bodybuilders do.
Yes,
right?
exactly. That's what the posing and Schwarzenegger
so in
would
6
talk
weeks,
about
if
this.
you're a decent athlete, right, you're not super cut up, we can work with that.
That's right. We will be a mixture of your personal trainer and posing coach, because it's going to take a little bit of how you
walk
yourself. Around. Yeah, correct. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. All right, and then the lighting.
And the lighting.
All right, number 5. How lean do I actually need to be to not feel like at least the least in shape person at the beach? How lean do I actually need to be to not feel like the least in shape person at the beach? I was going to say, we do live in Miami, and a lot of these are beach questions that it's going to be very hard for people to relate if they don't live here.
You'll look as lean as the biggest person on the beach. Right?
There are people, but you know what? These days, that just means that there are so many people out there that are like really, really getting in shape. If you feel like,
well, in Miami,
especially
because of the vanity,
But at the same time, depending on what beach you go to, you don't have to do much. There's a lot of people that
Fair.
don't do shit.
Fair. If you go by the Ritz.
I'm being spoiled because I know we have Muscle Beach on 11th, and if you go to that beach, it's like
if you're a casual
men
exerciser,
working.
You're gonna look out of place.
Stay more towards Sunny Isles, right?
Yeah. There you look jacked.
Exactly. All right. Number 6 is doing fasted cardio at 6 a.m. really elite, or just something we tell ourselves to justify suffering? Yes, we kind of preempted to that. If you're thinking restriction is the road to progress, it's not a one size fits all with that.
Well, and if you're in the sport of bodybuilding, you may have to be doing some type of fasted cardio.
Yeah,
somewhere.
here and there.
I know,
right?
we've known like of not personally. I personally don't know, but I've seen documentaries of like CT Mark Fletcher, right?
Yep.
Of the great Ronnie Coleman, right? Of like doing, they'll wake up like halfway through the night and do like a fasted cardio.
Yep.
Just kind of keep the engine going, so to speak.
I agree. And performance and aesthetics, but you know what? All the dudes that I talk to on these special teams, like SRT, SWAT, the Navy teams, the SEAL teams, I asked them, would they ever skip chow in the morning? Like when you guys were in training, I'm like, would you guys ever just be like, yo, I'm going into this one fasted? He's shaking his head. Hard no. Peter's looking at me mad, like, no way.
Oh.
Right?
No, and not even elite level endurance athletes anymore skip
right
anymore.
And
we've transitioned away from it.
Fed calories, fed you and fasted you, the fed you is always going to do better.
Kill
always going to do better. Yeah, regardless. I agree. All right, number 7. What's more important right now, getting stronger or making sure I don't look insane in a tank top? Get big.
Yeah,
you know, I'm doubting you look
you're
insane.
Gonna probably look good in a tank top.
Yeah, send us what you're worried about. Who is this? Let's talk gym. Okay, number 8. Let's talk gym fashion. Let's talk gym fashion. Are we training or are we slowly transitioning into fitness influencers by accident? Gym fashion. Oh man, you know what?
We are. Hold on.
Oh.
We are navigating through gym fashion influencing,
dude,
and through just general influencing.
Dude,
it's a sea of influencing.
There are these outfits. There was a day where the Nike
every single modality of exercise.
Nike Pro was the only. Holy shit! Like you had to earn like the Nike Pro short. And then, because now fit women are coming in various sizes and assortments, and now there's so many brands that are catering to this like athletic fit. And like you said, for all modalities, so you have right. It's not just weightlifting, right? It's not just like,
and
so
then
you
every material, and then it's a lot.
Could we talk about the Aloe skirt? Because I think as far as iconic silhouettes,
Jonas is fitness fashionista, by the way.
I appreciate the fashion. I appreciate the R&D that goes into these items, the think tank of what they're trying to accomplish, and also we can't cross brands. So we can't be wearing
no cross branding.
Yeah, you can't look like a NASCAR driver.
If it happens every once in a while, okay, but
you can't look like a NASCAR driver with Tide, Marlboro.
Unless you're paid.
But then we're in NASCAR, right? That's you're paid to wear Aloe, Nike, Adidas, Asics, right? Under Armour. So I'd like to applaud Aloe with two layers. Number one, that they're brand neutral, so it's okay for you to wear Aloe Nike, Aloe whatever you have you. Number 2, it's lady specific, and is it lady specific? I hope so.
I think they have like a small men's section.
I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know about it. So, let's talk about that skirt. The skirt where they've managed to figure out a way for it to do the Marilyn Monroe subway
while still having the booty shorts.
While having the shorts under, and you don't even realize those shorts are there
until Marilyn.
And you still and it's like no matter where you put, like, hey, look, come over here, and you're like, hey, look, the skirt's blowing up. Let me have you over here. No matter what, I was like, is the air even on? Like, there's no fan blowing. How is the skirt doing that?
Yeah.
So what are you doing at Aloe to put what gravitational nuances and black hole gravitational pull is going on these fabrics?
It has to be in the nanotechnology.
How do they? Right, exactly, like Tony Stark type shit.
Yeah.
And then you'll also have the thought process of, hey, look, guys, let me just break this down really quick. I don't mean
we got more questions.
Yeah, we got one more. I don't mean to like be so specific on the women, but there's no guys clothing company that's trying to get. You just want to look jacked across everything, and the clothes don't adapt to that. There's more nuances and diversity in the women's clothing than the guys. You just have shorts. You don't have shorts and booty pants and dresses and running shorts. We have short 5 inches and running shorts. That's all we have. Lined or not lined. That's all we have. We don't have.
There's not a lot for the shirts.
No, but the women have have that half shirts, half tanks. We
got is dry fit.
Correct. So with that, it's like some of these shorts now where they have the support systems in it, and now like
crotch system kind of situation.
Yeah, and they're like, you know what? I'm going to stretch in that today. Like, what am I going to wear to do those bent over RDL? Oh, this pair of shorts that, like not sweats. And they know you're going to do that. So anyway, long story short, the fashion is making everyone look camera ready. And you'll that's what you're going to see. You'll see more cameras coming out.
And so you'll see more influencers.
Yeah, I can go on about the fashion. Okay, number 9. If diet has been pretty good all winter, how aggressive does my cut actually need to be to see real change?
Ollie, if you've been very good, you'll see a cut very, very fast.
Nice. Number 10.
As long as you're cutting. Like, if you're that dedicated, right, if you were that structured in terms of your bulking,
yep,
right, you've probably gained some good muscle mass there. And because you've built up the engine, it's like you probably went from a V6 to a V8, right? And you have all that metabolic kind of ability now. And now when you start doing a lot more cardiovascular intervals and stuff of that nature, now you.
They say the diet was pretty good all winter.
Okay, so 2 or 3 weeks.
Why
4 weeks maybe.
why pretty good? I don't have
Yeah,
faith in that.
Yeah,
but
it's a very.
It's got to be more aggressive.
If you were very good, not very long.
Or are you gaining weight? Like, what's the number on the scale? So I'd have to go with how good was the bulk in the first place. So I would say this: start off. Don't even do the cut. Don't even just go back into the bulk and gain the weight that you wanted to get, and then have an aggressive cut.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you didn't do it the first time, like, what are we doing now? Now we're just back to.
Yeah.
Now we're just doing nothing. All right, number 10. Final month before summer. What actually moves the needle the most? Stricter diet, more cardio, or just finally being honest about how hard you've been training? So, diet, cardio, or intensity?
Can I get a combo answer?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm between diet and how.
Diet, cardio, or intensity?
How intensity.
Diet and intensity.
Yeah.
Yes.
For me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
because the second one, cardio. Yeah.
You know, like you rather have the intensity over. Yeah, the cardio. Yeah. If it's junk, then it's
junk.
not. Yeah,
it's not doing anything for you.
You gotta have.
I mean, okay, good. You have decent cardiovascular response.
Well, that's good. People like that. Yeah, that's the time. That's the 10.
That's right. Thank you. We're here.
Oh man. Well, thank you guys for writing in.
Yeah,
that was
we like that.
Pseudo nice of you. So let me tell you about the strawberry shake, man.
Yes.
Right. So.
This is for the bulk.
This is for the bulk. I have a kid. He's a hard gainer, and trying to get the feeding times right. So we got the feeding times right. We have I need you to eat this. Obviously, the kid goes to school, so we had to mitigate. Okay, look, you need to start taking your meals to school, so it's not a guessing game. In the cafeteria, and this is already happening after several days of the kid saying. Hey man, I want to gain weight, but we didn't just want it to be an empty conversation where we're like, yeah, because at school it was just like, it's ridiculous to try to eat the quality there. So now, we made a list. He's getting all the food made. He's, obviously parents are on board with it, which is good if you live in a healthy household.
Support system.
So then all the feeding times were good, and it's like, okay, well, now let's talk about the fun stuff. Let's talk about, getting some milk in you. Let's talk about getting an extra, 2,000 calories in you.
Stuff.
Something really dense. Yeah. So usually where I immediately defaulted in my mind were like the mass gainer supplement shakes.
Okay.
But I didn't want to recommend that because it's like full of filler and there's not a lot of And not only that, the family's already in the habit of making juice and healthy food. So it was like it was heaven for me to be like, you know what, this is how we're gonna do it. It's the hardest.
You went the more quote unquote holistic routes.
Yes,
like more natural rather than
because and it started like
that's always best.
It started with all the Cellucor mass gainers and and I'm like, you know what? I go, listen, what I used to do when I was doing the weightlifting competing was. Strawberry. I like personally the strawberry mass gainers just because it was fruity.
I like strawberry milks.
I only like strawberry shakes.
Okay.
If I like if I'm doing like a thick shake, the shake consistency is I don't know what it was, but a big pink drink was just it was. Yeah. I like chocolate, but not as much as for some reason the mass gainer had to be strawberry.
Yeah.
So I went with that. And I got the same question because he was like, "Hey, why the F strawberry?" And I'm like, "Man, look, I don't know, but it's very popular." I went on Amazon to go look at the brands and everything. Now there's like 10 times the amount of mass gainers, but the number we were hovering around was 2,000. So 2,000 calories in the shake.
Woo.
So you bet your stomach volume better be there to drink that thing under. In one sit, and I'd like you to be able to chug it, but it's like in a protein shake. But you got to drink it in under half an hour. Right, you can't sit there and sip on it.
Well, yeah, because if not, your system is going to be digesting that all day and night.
So this is where we had the starting of the conversation where I had him making sure his feeding times were met with a nice portion of food, and within that portion of food, we had the right ratios of protein, carbs, and fats, etc. Right.
Yeah.
It was really kind of just increasing what he was kind of already doing. And this strawberry shake, I'm like, okay, man, we're gonna boil it down. So I fed it into ChatGPT. And I prompted it with, I need the world's best strawberry milkshake. And I just fed it in all the prompting of what these companies put in the mass gainers. So amino acid profile.
Okay.
I wanted a 4-to-1 carbohydrate to protein ratio, right?
Okay.
4-to-1 bro. All right.
Yeah.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
Well, you need that in order for it to be 2,000 cows.
And right, exactly.
Yeah.
And we're talking. I'm like, hey, look, man. I love shock and awe. I want you to gain 25 pounds by the end of the year. I want you to look at yourself.
Give me the recipe already.
Show
Jonas.
me the money. Okay, sorry. Okay, so.
Give it to me.
Give it to me. Okay, let me just pull it up. Let me pull.
While you look at it, I am a whenever I don't have like old reliable chocolate milkshake.
Yes.
Old reliable.
Correct.
You know, like in terms of like if you're a hard gainer or if you're really trying to keep up with your protein intake.
Yep.
It is so easy to do, and it's just as if not more effective than your regular protein shake.
Yeah, exactly.
Just good old chocolate milk. You know, what's that?
It has the right
Fairlife.
Yeah.
Well,
they have grass-fed ones at Whole Foods in the glass.
Yeah,
and they keep it.
Obviously, look at the ingredients. Choose the one with the least amount of fluff.
Yeah, right? And the chocolate milk after hard sessions, it has I think the perfect balance of leucine, sugars, and the carbohydrate ratio.
Your gut processes so much better.
More so than the regular milk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
all right,
here we go. The famous shake. Okay, strawberry shake.
Exactly.
Strawberry mass gainer. So write this down. All right, 2 cups whole milk. 2 cups plain Greek yogurt. 2 cups frozen strawberries. And then we're going to start getting into
the yogurt.
Oh yeah.
Yogurt.
Oh yeah.
People undervalue yogurt.
Yep. Okay, so here we go. Then 2 large bananas, 1 cup dry rolled oats, half a cup raw honey, 4 medjool dates, and then 2 scoops of whey protein powder. If you want to start putting
2 scoops. Okay.
Yeah, 2 scoops of the protein powder.
Okay.
If you want to throw some fats in there, 2 tablespoons natural peanut butter or almond butter.
Definitely.
You're going to throw half a teaspoon of salt, sea salt, and then you're going to throw another 5 grams of creatine in there. And that's going to give you 2,000 calories. And let me tell you something.
And that's called a bulk.
Dude, I've had the
shake, baby.
I had the shake because there was extra, and it was the best thing I've ever had. And the dates and I plug my diet and my foods into ChatGPT.
It's clunky too. Like
dude,
if you put the as soon as you put yogurt, and then if you add the
oatmeal,
the protein.
Oh, and the protein.
The peanut butter.
Yes. Yeah. No, this one had a little bit.
So it's funny. I've been doing just yogurt, and I don't know why, because I've done it in shakes, but I've been eating yogurt by itself, and I only recently just started adding like a peanut butter to it. And
oh, wow.
Like, why haven't I been doing this?
Yeah. I do that with cottage cheese and peanut butter.
Fair. I've done it, but like I don't know why I never
Why
did
not
it
the yogurt?
Yeah, why not the yogurt?
You got to get the ratio right. It's got it's got to be more on the fruit. It can't be like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
It should look like almost like a little bit of a slizzer kind of a peanut butter, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, now put half of a pack of the Quaker's oatmeal in there. I had to chew it a little bit when I was swallowing it, but it was delicious, dude. It made, that Sour Patch Kid kind of feeling you get when you eat them, like that tart. It had a little hint of that, and I couldn't believe I was eating something that was all natural.
Okay,
it was amazing.
Okay,
so there's a nice little free tip from your boys
for those people that are hard gainers, guys.
Yeah,
definitely. You need a surplus.
And then that works.
And you need consistency, right? Because if your body feels like it's not getting enough calories, then it's you're gonna stall the metabolic system.
The fitter you are, like the less calories you absorb from it. So if you drink that 2,000 calories, 1,600 you're going to absorb. You're not going to get all of them, and then that's exactly why you're taking it, because your other meals you're not. It's always going to be a little bit off if you're trying to hit a bulk. If you're trying to gain 30 pounds of good muscle, 25 pounds of good muscle, and you don't want, everyone's going to put on a different ratio, right? But hopefully that's mitigated, right? What is it? A little genetic luck too, by the way, right?
Definitely.
Because you can't gain one without the other. So if you're going to gain 30 pounds, it's going to be a little bit.
It doesn't happen in a vacuum, guys.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you gain 30 to keep 12.
Yeah.
Quality pounds.
Going back to what you were saying in terms of one of that questions, pretty good, if my bulk has been pretty good, should I start my cut? Commit.
Yes.
Commit to like getting there. I'm thinking about my friend, and he committed for a full year of bulking. Right.
Wow.
He it was his first time doing bodybuilding.
Yep.
Right. He did the whole thing. Right. He got on a good program. He bulked. Right.
Yep.
And he fell short of number coming in the overall one. He came in his category at 1. Right. But he didn't get that overall because he just wasn't as big. And he did the natural selection of bodybuilding. Right. And so he's like, yo, I'm gonna fully commit to a full year.
Is that the one with board shorts or?
It's board shorts.
Yeah. Okay,
shorts.
I like that one.
Yeah. And he committed to a full year of bulking. Full year.
Wow.
And he just shredded. Dude, he looks
amazing.
He already looks great.
Yeah.
He looks
amazing.
Shredded.
Yeah.
And then the cut was like quick.
So
he had all that muscle mass.
Do you know the number? Maybe I was throwing it a little bit off. Is it what is the, like, if I gain 10 to keep, like, what do you gain 30 to keep?
I don't know exactly, man. I don't know exactly, but
but stuff is coming off. Like the scale moves the other way.
Yeah. Like he gained, I think for sure, over 30, 40 pounds.
And then to keep what, 20,
like
15?
20.
Yeah. Okay. So that was right.
Maybe like more towards like 15.
Yeah.
But like you're.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And then there's people like, well, how does that, people, I don't know if people are giving it the right.
There's a lot of,
because how do you lose more?
There's a lot of fluid inside the muscle mass.
How do you lose more fat? Like if you're losing weight, like how do you lose a higher ratio of fat than
by having more
muscle?
Because
Correct.
It needs more energy.
And then to do smart cardio, and then to do like zone 2, not go anaerobic too much.
Yeah.
Right. Understand how that zone 2 works.
Because the anaerobic stuff, it's definitely gonna
long boring cardio.
It's gonna affect your muscle volume, because if you're doing anaerobic, you're moving yourself, right, and your body's gonna want to shed some of that weight in order to be more powerful.
Yep. So in an extreme version, an extreme example, when you're eating, you want everything to be as lean, your gains to be as lean as possible. You want your calorie intake to come from the most leanest, cleanest areas.
Yeah.
Obviously, the mass gainers are to be timed out in a close enough window to your activity, but that's still, again, that's supplementing. The rest should be pretty clean, and that's hopefully how you lose more fat in the end when you do the cut.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and then there's like how different people are going to have different methodologies, but it all kind of revolves around coming in and out of a surplus.
Yeah.
So you think anyone's going to make the shake?
I hope so. And let me know.
Let us know. Let us know how it goes. So, kind of the topic of the day that I wanted to get in.
You don't say.
I'm excited. Yeah, I am excited. I am excited because I've been using this thing. I got you know what an axis board is?
Yeah.
I mentioned a little bit about it before.
Yeah.
So
you haven't brought it in. I haven't seen you play with it here. So you're playing with it at home.
Yeah, because it's so I can't start when I bring it here and I start working on it. I start wanting to go to other stations and like do other stuff because it just needs to be so isolated, and I do it maybe 3 times a day in my apartment. It's only for 3 minutes. I do it because it's for the feet, and it just you go to failure. So it's really not. But maybe I should just bring it in and show video.
For those of you, obviously you can search it, but for those of you that are home, right, that you're trying to picture,
explain what it is. Yeah, an axis board for the feet.
Think of yourself. Grab a mop, right? It's one stick, right? And basically, you would just cut that right to the size of your foot. Right?
Yep.
And you'd basically
the handle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
No, here, let me. No. Hold. Oh, yeah. Well, like a depth for underneath, you're gonna explain like that.
Okay.
Here, let me show you. So, I'll just show it for the. Where's the?
Yeah, right there.
Can they see that?
Oh no, it's not gonna.
No,
look at it. Oh, there we go. A little bit. Yeah. There you go. Good.
Okay. So an axis board it's for the ankles. It's basically a platform. It's a thin piece of wood that you stand on with a dowel type thing underneath to control the rocking of it left and right. And it stabilizes the ankle and works where your foot is
stabilizes and destabilizes.
So if you're thinking of the foot, let's just talk like flight, because a plane and
like
the
a rotor.
foot.
Exactly,
Correct.
like the flaps on a plane, sort of.
Correct.
Speak, right?
So you have, if you're thinking of the foot like a plane, you're thinking of the wings tilting up, then the wings tilting
That's what
down.
produces the movement in the plane, and you go
Correct.
up and down.
Correct. Now, the reason why I got this is because I have collapsed arches in my feet. My biggest limiter with any kind of performance stuff has always been my ankles. So if I do any long distance running, if I do any
After a certain point, you're collapsed.
the feet are always
It starts.
and I wore orthotics when I
triggering.
was younger, and I was always going to get them. They wrecked my feet.
You always had shin splints or something.
When I wore the orthotics, and eventually I'm like, you know what? I have to get out of. I have to at least do foot exercises to get the minimum. It didn't like miraculously change my foot into like a high arch, but it got it to where I don't need an orthotic, a medical orthotic.
Because for
my back
can get
pain.
into this. An orthotic, right? It's usually the initial thought of it is to help basically give structure long term, or at least initially give feedback of to that person of like, hey, let's say you're pronated or you're flat footed, right? When I place this orthotic in a manner, right, that like it's gonna give you an arch, right? Now you should theoretically, right, gain awareness of like, oh, that's what it feels like to be in an arch position, so to
Correct.
speak. It can act as a crutch if you if then you're just not aware, and then you just keep that there. Right, because now you're relying on it over time.
Correct. You're not physically doing the
where it's providing you structure, but like you're not being intentful about it.
You're not preventing the foot collapsing.
Correct.
When you're on the
you're just relying on it.
So correct. So this is what the Axis board does: is it kind of like shows you the deficiency of what an orthotic would do. So underneath it has a little handle where you can kind of move it around and change where the foot needs and. Right. Yeah. And when I was setting it up for myself, because there's not a lot, you can buy it online and there's like, they give you a book and everything, but I really should have, the amount of research I went into it, I really should have been working with like maybe a podiatrist or something with this, but here we are.
We're our own best guinea pig.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? This is the spot where it felt the easiest is where I was making the biggest mistakes. So in other words, I'm flat footed. So the foot, right.
Crazy.
Crazy.
We always go towards comfort.
Yeah. So in other words, I set it up in a way where I have to not let the foot collapse into the deficit I was creating on the Axis board. Whereas the other way around, I thought I was just putting the foot in the proper position and balancing it like that. Okay. Whereas I had to actually, and I can't even do these exercises without holding my upper body on a table. Like you were asking me before, like why don't you bring them into the gym? It's like, dude, I'm literally just like, I have to hold I can't even do them like a calf raise. Like calf raises for me, single, very, very hard. And then, so finding out how the feet kind of move really has helped my ankles big time. I had an ankle injury. I've been doing the rehab on that for a long time, and I just was really surprised at what I haven't been doing with my feet.
And how much dexterity you can gain from it. Right, or proprioception.
It's been guiding my whole.
It goes hand in hand, right? And when your foot, like just when I grab this hat, right? The same thing can happen, right? When you're receiving those signals from the hand, right, to your brain, and brain's processing at lightning speed, right? That's happening with your foot.
Yep. All the rotation stuff that I'm trying. Go ahead. Sorry.
We don't take that in the same manner, right?
Correct. All the balancing. This has been a game changer. All of the lack of rotation in my hip and the reason why like certain types of throws are like, why can't I throw this without using too much upper body? Yeah. So I went deeper into it, and I was looking into flat-footed people tend to have overdeveloped arms in proportion because they use a lot. They usually have a very strong upper body. It's not that you're not going to perform it, but it's going to be this person's going to have a very, very strong upper body because he's using it as a deficiency for what the legs and the hips are not doing. Flat-footed people tend to be are going to have a stronger upper body.
Wow. Huh.
In proportion to like they're going to look like the big arms and I was like, wow, that's amazing. And then it's like trusting these areas of my feet. If you are struggling, it's not just balance. Yeah. So it's not just like stepping on like a thing that's going to challenge me to stay coordinatively balanced. I'm actually saying, okay, is this pronation of my foot is this supination of my foot.
Yeah.
Control lowering into pronation and then go back into supination. Because flat-footed people, they don't even go into pronation. They just let the ankle roll in.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I was just like, what?
They don't even know that they're pronated.
So it was that was very, very eye-opening.
You need to gain that awareness in your arch system.
And then on the other side, it makes us more educated to find out what the other side of the foot is doing. Like if people with high arches, they can't.
They're overly supinated.
Yeah,
they don't know how to bring it down or rotate the tibia inward.
Correct.
To strike.
So a lot of injuries on that too. Yeah, absolutely.
And so that causes a lot more like IT band issues.
Ankle rolling.
Yeah, ankle rolling. They'll right, like somebody that's a lot more has better proprioception of like their understanding of how the foot interacts with the ground. When let's say they were to like kind of fall and kind of roll their ankle, they're more than likely gonna survive, quote unquote, that ankle rolling and maybe have a lot less of a ankle, like a grade level ankle strain than somebody that doesn't have that proprioception, because they'll understand, oh, my ankle's rolling it. They may either kind of roll with it and like be a little bit more supple and like roll with it, or it's usually most people that strain their ankle, right? It's because then they feel that ankle rolling into over supination and then they jerk the other way, and that's when that ligament kind of strains itself, and you're like, ooh. Oof. And it doesn't take much. It's just that slight hesitation and your inability to kind of process how that ankle is making contact or that foot is making contact.
Do you think people understand what type of foot they are? You think people are like, well, what am I? Or what's a quick way to?
No, well,
like if you're here's a quick way. Like if you've ever walked on the beach down here, since we do live here, or if you walked by a pool and you can see your footprint, how it impressions into the sand or on.
We look at people, so like for us, so I always say that like no. But I think some people,
I could tell by someone's footprint whether or not they have a high arch.
You can tell by yes, and you can tell by what they're wearing.
Yes, correct.
In terms of footwear.
Yes, correct. Absolutely.
Because people that are starting to be more conscious about their ankle, right, and their foot strike, they understand where the deficiencies lies and start accommodating their footwear to help them.
That's right.
Rather than it being a crutch, right?
That's right.
And are obviously implementing whatever it is that they need to implement, to mitigate some of those forces.
That's right. And we have pulled up a list.
Yeah.
So what the point is here is that it's gotten so good with the shoes being offered to
This is just like the fashion we were just talking about. There's so many things.
There's so many. The technology's gotten so good that and the
crazy.
Brand, the diversity in the brand.
It's a great time to live in.
It really is. Like, because there were just like 2 or 3 shoe types.
Yeah, it was Nike, Converse, right?
Yep. And then you had Brooks and brands like Saucony that were like in the background, but not at the level that you have now as far as the runners.
Yeah.
And as far as the technology and what's going on with a lot of these high-end running shoes or just these, daily trainers.
Yeah.
But we put a list together as far as what type of foot you are, the best running shoes that you might want to take a look at. If you've never been to, sometimes a shop will do this for you, like if you go to iRun or something like that.
Exactly, in terms of helping you understand if you're not as aware, right?
Yeah.
You need to first, all right, what type of striking
they're going to tell you, they're going to give you an analysis, and then put you in a shoe that fits.
You don't need to, like, you could literally grab your own, like, camera, set it up, and just walk towards it, and you can kind of slow that down and already start seeing. Right?
Yeah, it's gonna help, and exactly, and knowing what words that, like, we pulled up the list, like you'll see like what support means, what neutral means, what arch, what does this mean, what's a drop. Yeah. So you'll see a lot of times with these shoe companies, they'll put words next to the shoe, and obviously, I used to just shop for aesthetics. So, there wasn't a lot of.
You still can.
You still can, and you can still wear whatever shoe you want. But if you're going to run a lot of miles, you're definitely going to feel better in the shoe that was made for your foot.
Or if you're standing a lot. So I have my brother-in-law that he's standing a lot, and he's had a lot of ankle issues as well. And so I first kind of got him to start doing some exercises and got him some tools, right? And start kind of gaining that awareness, and he starts understanding how he starts interacting with the ground. And he actually just went very minimal. Minimal
shoe?
Minimalism, yeah.
Like a barefoot shoe?
Yeah.
Well, those are good. Those are good for trying to getting an understanding.
And understanding, exactly. It's not necessarily conducive to like long standing bouts, right? But I will say now when he is standing for long periods of time, he's a little bit more partially aware, and that's definitely making a world of a difference in terms of how his knees feel and how his back feels. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, then he obviously has, based on like what type of striker he is, and when he runs, what type of shoe he kind of relies with.
Yeah, because how you could stand and you can use like a barefoot shoe for standing and even training, walking around. But the word that you're using, striking, like when you say that, it implies that collision, which and when that happens, you're like, I have to. It's beyond my control to manage my collision of my foot with my ankle. I could do it standing. I could activate my feet, but I definitely need a shoe if I'm going to start adding intensity into my strikes.
Especially with all these, okay, you might be running on concrete, or you might be running on turf, or
or track.
And it's all going to have different kind of collisions, but they're collisions nonetheless.
Yes.
And that repeated over,
So which one are we going to go through first?
Let's go. The first ones I have is for pronated runners.
Yeah, we were on that discussion. So this means that when you're running, whether you're going to strike we're not talking about where you're going to strike. That's a whole nother.
Yeah.
But the foot is going to collapse in. So these shoes that are usually called the stability shoes.
I have a quick kind of how I teach people like pronated, right? I tell them hands up, right? And so if their hands are up, like put them together. If your hands are up, you're holding a bowl of soup. And that's supinated, right? And if you put your hands down, right, you're prone to dropping the bowl of soup.
Oh, right there. There you go.
So, yeah.
That's good.
It makes it easy.
That's good. So we took the thinking out for you.
Yeah, there you go.
Soup. So the support shoes are going to prevent your ankle from rolling in like that. And then over the long term, it's going to, when you're running, it's not going to give you all that compression that you would otherwise get in the knees and the hips.
It's going to prevent a lot of like what us nerds, right, gym nerds call knee valgus, so to speak, right? Like that buckling. If the ankle collapses in, the rest of the leg is going to kind of collapse in.
Yes.
Right? So it's going to, quote unquote,
and there are shoes that do this very, very, very well. So which ones did we there's so many brands, but I think we pulled up the best of every single kind of category. So what do we have first on the list?
We're not overly, because there's, like Jonas said, there's a lot, right? And
some of our faves.
Yeah. So we definitely have, for the pronated people, right? We have the Brooks Adrenaline.
Yep.
And Brooks has been around for a very long time.
They used to be the only support shoe.
Yes, and you can tell they're still consistent. I run currently I'm more of a pronator.
Yep, I have 2-3 pairs of Brooks.
Yeah, I'm a Brooks guy. And then you have the Asics. I've also ran an Asics, but I fall to Brooks. Asics Gel Cayano.
Nice. I've never tried Asics.
30. Yeah, they look pretty nice, right?
And then where's that Nike Structure one? That there's also the Nike Structure.
So, and then I guess
if you're a fan of Nike,
we honorable mentions. Before that, we have the Hoka. I might be butchering this same, but Arihi? How would you pronounce that? Arahi?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is right.
Arahi, yeah.
It's Polynesian type stuff, right?
Looks like. Right? And then yes.
Is that right? Did I offend Polynesian? Is that right? Arahi? They're more like Hawaiian.
Maybe.
It's the same. I don't want to.
We'll hear about it.
Polynesian.
We'll hear about it. But yeah, the honorable mention came with the Nike Structure 26.
Yeah, I know people like wearing Nike. But yeah, those are good. But I haven't run in the Structures yet. I've run in the Brooks and in just the Brooks on that list.
So basically, just for people, how we came with this, if you, it depends. Like some people are a lot more prone to pronation, right? To letting that ankle collapse in. If you're a very heavy pronator, right, the Asics is probably your go-to, right? The Asics Cayano.
Yeah.
If you're kind of like, all right, I'm middle of the road, I have good kind of decent awareness, right, but I still end up pronating, especially as I get later into my bouts of running. The Brooks are like probably it,
the
right?
best one.
And then
there was no pain in the ankles in those Brooks. I've never had an issue.
Yeah.
But go try them on.
And then the Hokas are kind of is
I've never tried the Hokas either.
Hokas are like, but Hokas are considered maximalism, right? So Hokas, they're good. You'll see, and we'll talk about this.
the bigger.
They're a very clunky shoe. They're good for either pronators or even supinators because of how much support they provide.
Yeah.
You'll see that we'll mention it. So we'll go obviously into our next list is for supinators. So people that have the tendency to kind of roll outward.
You're unable to go into. You're unable to put the weight into your arch.
Exactly.
You're not able to. The foot's not
on the side, on the outside of your foot for
correct,
the most part.
Correct.
Right, and you can see. Actually, you probably don't even need a formal test. Just grab any shoe that you consistently use, turn it over, look at the sole, and you'll see where the wear and tear is.
You're right. It's either going to be on the inside of the heel or the rear of the heel, or the outside of the heel. And these things affect push off.
Correct.
When you're
or it might tell you, hey, you're not pushing off.
Correct. Right. All the areas where you're trying to propel yourself forward, obviously in running, which is why we're talking about it. But it's like, well, what if a lot
of heel strikers, right? If you see like the bottom of your sole kind of like wasted, right? You might not have enough of a push or like what we like to call plantar flexion.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And you're not getting into that ass.
Yeah, you're not getting it right. You're not getting glute recruitment. Absolutely.
So you may be whipping the leg right around.
Yep.
Right?
And then what do we have on the
supinators, right?
Yep. What shoes we got on that?
So, like I said, Hoka's kind of like they're right now in terms of they're good for supinators. They're also good for pronators. So they get
the same model.
They get a different model, but they make such a clunky shoe that they just adjust the thickness of it. But for Hoka's, for supinators, it's the Clifton.
Oh, all right.
Looks a little bit different, right?
Usually the inside of the rear, the heel on the inside will be a little bit more thicker on the support shoe.
Yeah.
But on the for the supinators, it's the opposite way because it wants you to drop into that pronation.
Yeah. And then you have the Asics Gel Nimbus.
Nice.
Those are, I've seen them. I think Dr. Will Valdez, he's more of a supinator. He's told me about the Gel Nimbus. He likes them.
Nice.
And then the Brooks Ghost.
Oh, those are nice.
Yes, I've worn these. These are the ones I've worn.
Those come in good colors. The Ghost.
Yeah.
And then I think they also released the Ghost Max, which is competing with the Hoka with the thicker, if it has the thicker sole, thicker cushion.
Right now, you have to, if you're one of these foot.
I don't run that distance to require that big of a
cushion.
Yeah, that's why I like the Brooks because it's not, I can run.
It's middle of the road kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honorable mention goes to the Nike Pegasus.
Nice.
Yeah. Or the Vomero.
Or the Romero?
Vomero.
Oh, the Vomero. Oh, those are nice too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those are
very kind of like flashy colors.
Yeah.
So does Hoka too. Brooks are a little bit more tamed, right? And Asics are a little bit more. I was gonna say flamboyant, but it's not that.
No, they have the colors on the shoes that you're mentioning are definitely more vibrant. I like them personally.
Yeah.
They don't make the support shoes in those good colors.
We also kind of brought some options for people that have very high arches, but you have to think that people with high arches usually have the tendency to be supinators to some capacity as well. So,
yeah.
So you'll see some of the same things, right? Some of the same companies, right? Hoka's, you could do a Hoka Clifton, right? Which is like that supinator shoe as well.
Well, I think instead of I think
the Gel Nimbus, same once again.
Those are the supinators are the people that tend to do more ballerina stepping on their turnover when they run, because they're not going to pronate at all. They remember the supinators.
Yeah.
They don't know their feet don't know how to put weight distribution into the arch, so they think that a ballerina step is pronation. So the heel's usually elevated, the soleus is usually overactive.
Yeah.
And that is
very tight.
Yeah, very tight. So like the shoes that you mentioned, especially the Vomero, it has a little bit of a offset, or at least it looks like it.
Yeah, on the heel a little bit.
It puts you more in your arch, or at least tries to guide your foot into the arch.
That position. Yeah. Yeah, ultimately these shoes try to get you into a little bit of a better overall contact with the floor.
And you can go even a step further and couple a good custom insole with these shoes. And you don't have to go to a doctor to do this thing. You can do.
Yeah.
I like the Superfeet ones that are on Amazon.
What was the other one?
Superfeet, and then you have Dr. Shaw's if you're on a budget.
We were talking about Dr. Shaw's before we got on.
Yeah, but dude, you go to the aisle in CVS, and they're all sold out. But just make sure you get the one that pertains to your foot. I would think with flat feet that I need an arch, and I'm looking at these high arch foot supports, but that's not the case. I don't need that one. I need one that's going to brace not let the foot roll in. It's going to put me into pronation. So it wants me to learn how to use my arch. It just wants me to learn how to lower it properly.
Yeah,
it's so crazy. It's the opposite of what you think it is.
Yeah, and so, I mean, at the end of the day, we have this list, but I think that's why we started with it, and because you were messing with the access board, right? It's important that you recognize, hey, what type of, foot striking am I doing, and okay, yes, you provide the proper structure, because a lot of people here in Miami, they want to run a 5K, a 10K. Yep. They want to go to the Brickell Run Club, right? They want to
play pickleball,
the Miami Marathon, or whatever.
Yep.
And there's a
Paddle.
lot of, right? And so you need to provide the structure, because at the end of the day, we always fault, and it's what you were saying, you fault to where your comfort is, right? So you're going to continue, Jonas, you're going to continue to be flat-footed,
yep.
right?
Yep.
You're just trying to give yourself a little bit of a better understanding and extend, so to speak, your shelf life.
12% is what I'm realistically looking for.
Exactly. Right. And so at the end of the day, you have to do your what you can control, and you're doing it right with the access board, and you don't have to get an access board. There's all sorts of tools, there's all sorts of bands, all sorts of exercises that you can do to gain awareness. If I'm a supinator, okay, let's gain and try to figure out how to bring that arch down, right, a little bit, right, or I consciously, right. If I'm a pronator, how can I raise that arch, right? If I'm a heel striker, how can I strike a little bit more in the mid, right? And so whatever that takes, and then okay, yes, all right, provide the structure, because over time, the foot is gonna do what the foot does.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And
you're
especially
really just
in a marathon, at mile 20, you're not gonna be thinking about, oh, I am striking.
Definitely not. Definitely not. You want the shoe to be doing the thinking, and the realistic approach. I think if you catch yourself like once a day,
exactly, then you've gotten better.
Right, exactly. If you catch yourself once or twice a day in these, like, oh man, I can't stand like that because my toes don't spread when I walk. That's all I'm talking about. We're basically, if you go from a F to a C, is what we're talking about. Right? Because we're not going to go A+. I'm not, like you said. But, and this keeps pain away. So if you want to keep skiing, you want to keep doing all those.
You want to keep running.
Yeah, definitely keep running.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you want to keep running, absolutely. And so this will be more rewarding than I think any kind of plyometric drill you can try to do.
Well, if you think about it, running is high volume of plyometric.
Yes, but the feet have. It starts with how the foot's interacting.
We
with
have,
the ground.
and we talked about this. We have, as coaches, we have this book that we follow, right? How to be a successful coach, and the rules. And there's like 100 rules or whatever the case may be, and we rotate them. We go up and we write it on the board. And one of the rules was when working with general population, anything that is more than a walk can technically be considered a plyometric. So if I ask you to run a 5K, you just did a 5K of plyometric.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you need to, that's a lot of volume.
Impact.
A lot of collision, like you said.
That's right.
And I think the last list that we came up with was like, all right, what if I'm like middle of the road? I'm not overly pronated. I'm not overly supinated. My arch is not, decent. Right? Kind of
a neutral shoe. The shoe will not be giving you any feedback.
Yeah.
It will all be
giving you feedback, but it's just overall support.
Yes.
Right?
Oh yeah. Well, it's just absolutely. Well, I mean, it's gonna give you the support wherever you land. It's not gonna guide you into the area.
It's gonna default you, so to speak.
Correct. Whereas you definitely feel the other shoes working to put you into these areas. And it's very, very subtle, and it's one of those things where the shoe's going to be doing the thinking for you. If you're in a neutral shoe, I would say you should know what you're doing a little bit.
Yeah.
I can't wear neutral shoes.
Yeah.
And run. I can wear them like standing around, and I'm just like, okay, here's where my feet kind of have to be, and do I feel my toe? I'm always doing a checklist, and because in order for this to kind of stay where it needs to stay, it can't just be like, oh yeah, I forgot to do that all week. Like when I'm walking, I have to kind of you know, it's like a row. Like when I'm rowing a very long distance, I'm robotic with it for the first 5-10 minutes. And when I'm running or I'm walking, I have to feel, okay, my default is, do I feel my big toe stretch when I'm behind me? These neutral shoes, you got to have
a little bit more conscious.
Some talent.
Yeah. Or some reps already.
Yeah,
in the bag.
exactly. Exactly.
And so we start off
well
with
said.
the A6 Nova Blast.
Those are nice.
They look nice. I like this.
That
like this.
fire orange color, yeah.
Yeah, like with turquoise with fire orange.
I can't wear socks like that though because it makes my feet look too big. It makes just like the way like there's a lot of shoe and then a lot of sock.
It's the lighting. It's the lighting. And then we have the next one is the Nike Pegasus 41.
Oh, those are nice. I do have a pair of those, but I can't run too long.
My only thing with Nike is that they make all their shoes have such a small toe box.
Yes, dude. Yes.
And that's a whole other conversation. We're only talking about how the foot strikes. Now take that into account with how the front end of your foot is.
Yep.
Right. And
I'm having an issue on the one of my on my left foot.
That's a whole other can of wormhole.
Yep.
Right? Because you definitely want, depending on how your foot is.
Toe can't spread. You can't go into pronation now.
That's a whole other volume of like, hey, some shoes come with like wide toe boxes.
Yep.
Versus like more narrow.
Yep.
So that's potentially a consideration for some of these shoes.
Yep.
And then we have the A6 Gel Nimbus as well. That it's more, I mean, we saw it in one of the other lists, I believe, as a supinator as well. Yep.
Yeah. You know, on the extreme end of other sports, and
but it provides a good.
As long as we're on footwear, that we could talk rock climbing and ballet, as far as footwear that's just going to destroy your feet, and there's no. You're taking a shoe that's making the foot not behave like a foot.
What?
When you're talking about rock climbing shoes and ballerina shoes.
Oh yeah. Or even cycling shoes.
Yes, exactly, and cycling shoes, because there's it's the foot will mold to whatever performance thing that you're doing, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing as far as that. But the footwear has had more influence on the shaping
of humans
than I think any other device.
Maybe now the phone.
You're right. You're right. The phone.
And why? Because
the wrist extensors and the fingers.
Well, no, I'm saying from the foot standpoint.
Oh, the foot.
Right?
Yeah, we're not going to get into the phone on this episode.
We're bipedal, but just in a quick snapshot, we're bipedal human beings, so we stand on our 2 feet. When our toe boxes are really, really narrow, right? Our basically our stability, right, or our platform of standing on Earth, basically just becomes a lot more narrow, right? And so now your body's gonna have to compensate to find stability. It'll find it. That's why some people start rotating their feet outward.
Yep.
Right. Potentially.
Yep.
You see it in very overweight, obese people, right? Because they need to open up their feet in order to like hold that structure and all that weight that's above them. And so what you'll see is that like, imagine actually the best kind of thing that I've done is like imagine. Or if you want to try this for yourself, put yourself in a very narrow toe box shoe, right? And just put them on really, really tight.
Just go to a cycling shoe.
And see how long you can last in
weightlifting shoe.
Right? At some point, you'll initially feel, obviously, the burn and achiness in your foot. And then if you're standing, you'll eventually start seeing that ripple off into your thighs, your legs.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes it gets into your lower back.
Yep.
And then now take that off. And it's like immediate relief. You're like, oh, my God.
Right. That's the difference between the narrow toe box and the wide toe box perspective.
And so now think of, hey, imagine if you're running with a narrow toe box and you have a wide toe splay, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing a 5K, a 10K, a marathon. How much of an impact and how much collision your body's going to have to absorb. You're going to be wrecked.
My feet are getting hot just thinking of that. And it's cold in the room.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's...
Check that stuff out.
That's our shoe fetish.
Yeah. We're not sponsored by any of those, but check those out. Are we gonna be able to put a link for those on the podcast thing? Maybe not.
Maybe, I don't know.
Don't do too much on it. I don't know if that's beyond our technology that we have.
We're a small business.
We got the lights going. Just be happy with that. Do we have any announcements this?
I mean,
this week? What's going on at Adapt?
We always have our community Saturday. We just opened up our official after school program.
Tell us about it.
Man, they're called the Kids Lab.
Mm-hmm.
They are basically towards the courts on our facility. And this is something that by popular demand, and we constantly survey our members, and they're always asking us, like, hey, can we get some new equipment, or can we? But one of the biggest things, and obviously we cater to, general population, mom and dads, and one of the things that we were lagging in is outside of our youth development classes, when parents can drop off their kid and they're actually doing a physical class. But outside of those hours, because we don't run a quote unquote after school program, we were missing out on potentially some community members because they have nowhere to put their kids. And so we are happy to inform that we have official after school program.
Right.
They will help your kids with homework. If they need to be fed, right? You could basically come to class, drop them off for a couple hours, and come back, and they're ready. They've done their homework. They've have been fed to some capacity, and they're ready for whatever else is next. And you might have gotten your workout. You might have whatever the case may be. Cool. So they're called the Kids Lab. I think we should definitely have him on the podcast. He's great. Him and his wife. They're
great
owners, and they've had. This is I can't remember what exactly, but they have a couple already locations open. So they're not newbies to the business. They've been doing this successfully for quite some time. So we're very excited about that partnership.
Nice. And they know about that at front desk and everything, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Kids Lab.
The Kids Lab. You can find them on Instagram. So yeah, Community Saturday and the Kids Lab, especially if you're a parent looking for a place to join, but needs to do something with your kid.
Nice. All right, so check that out. And also check us out on Instagram.
Like, follow.
Give us a like and a subscribe and share on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Saying thank you again for listening. Catch you on the next show. Jonas and Peter.
Peace.
Out.